Hi everyone, I'm Kudzi and this is my sister Kim and we're the Empowered Sisters. Today we're going to be talking about jealousy and what causes people to be jealous. So first of all, just wanted to talk about what our understanding of jealousy is. So jealousy is when something good happens to someone and then you feel like it shouldn't have happened to them or it should have happened to you instead. So that's the feeling that we're going to be discussing today. So, Kim, what do you think causes people to be jealous?
So I think jealousy is actually like really complex, and
Mm,
depending on who you are in the situation, it could be a number of different things. But I think a lot of the times it's based on a desire that you have in yourself or a need that you have within yourself that has not been met. And
mm,
so, therefore, when you see it in someone else or in other people, it evokes these like feelings inside you, these feelings of jealousy, these feelings of, oh, why them? Why not me? Or how come they keep getting it and I just never seem to get there? So, I think a lot of the time it's just based on this unmet need that you have within yourself.
mm.
And depending on other situations, it may be due to other things, but I think most of the time that's like the big underlying cause.
Absolutely. And I think just to add on that, like an unmet need, and I think how it comes up when you start to feel jealous is because it's confronting. I believe it's an unmet need that you have been avoiding, like you have not been wanting to admit it to yourself that this need has been unmet. And the fact that someone else, the trigger is someone else's achievement that then triggers that thing inside of you. And I think that's why jealousy is such a negative feeling because it's bringing up something you're trying to suppress and it's bringing it up involuntarily. And, it's just kind of like winding you up. And I think um, jealousy can actually be used to, like, if you start to feel jealous, like, I think it's an opportunity to evaluate like what is going on for me and why am I feeling this way towards this person, what does that mean for me? And maybe you will find that you have that unmet need, or it's reminding you of maybe the lack of progress you're having in a certain area, and being jealous of someone else is not going to change that really, but really just going like what you can do about it. And the other thing that I think causes jealousy is just a mindset of scarcity, to think that, well, if you win, like I can't win as well. There's not enough in the world for both of us to win at the same time. So when someone achieves something, you actually feel like they are taking away something from you. So, and I always feel like, it's thinking that there's not enough in the world for me and others. Yeah.
I definitely agree, especially with the feelings of scarcity. I think
Mm,
there's a lot of areas in life where we've been made to believe that there can only be one winner.
mm,
So the minute you see someone else winning in that field, you feel threatened. There's a
mm.
perceived threat in your brain that, hey, look, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve, that's already been threatened because someone else is shining. So I think there's this idea that you can't have two stars shining at the same time. Essentially, the only way you're going to have your chance to shine is if this person doesn't do as well as they're doing now. And that could be what's bringing up these feelings of jealousy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always like to think of like the ocean and the well. Those are the kind of mindset that I equate. Like if someone becomes jealous, and I think that, I don't think they're people who are just jealous people. I think jealousy comes in and out of everyone at different times, depending on what your trigger is. And I feel like with the well and the ocean, like analogy, if you're feeling jealous, you are having the well mindset at that time that, if you have a well has like it has some kind of capacity, it can dry out depending on usage. So if too many people use that well, it dries up. But then if you go to the ocean like mindset, an ocean like people have, I've never heard of an ocean that is run dry. Like with the way that oceans are being used, like there's always water being taken from the ocean. There are always resources taken from the ocean, but the ocean has never run dry. So it's kind of just to shift and to say, this is the like this is not a well. Like when it comes to success, it's an ocean. There's enough in it for everyone. And I think the other thing is that can bring it up is maybe childhood experiences, growing up in a situation where you had to compete for limited resources. Maybe there were a lot of you, maybe you just didn't have much. And if there was something available, it had to be shared. And it was like first come, first serve. If you don't get in there quick, then you lose out. So your brain gets wired to say, if there is something, then we need to fight for it. There's not enough to go around. Or if I don't do this, like, I'm not going to get, and stuff like that. And what are your thoughts on things that, people can do to kind of improve that limited mindset and kind of deal with those feelings of jealousy?
So I think the first step of sort of dealing with jealousy is acknowledging it. So dig deep within yourself and get the bravery to actually say the words, I'm having feelings of jealousy right now. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not a big deal, but you have to name it before you can deal with it. So once you have had that like talk with yourself and you've come to terms with the fact that, okay, this is indeed what you're feeling, the next step is to try get to the root of it. So examine your life and examine the situation and try to see what it is about that situation that's bringing up these feelings for you. So is it an unmet need? So dig deep, think, okay, has seeing this person thriving made me realize that I've held back in my own life and I haven't been pushing myself as much as I would like to? Or is it a situation of maybe feeling like there's not enough space for everyone to thrive in this scenario? So look at it and be like, okay, I'm feeling this way. Why do I feel this way? Is it because of things people in power have told me, the way they've made me feel? And if that is the case, try to think of remedies for yourself in terms of what steps can I take to make sure that I continue to celebrate this person's success, but show other people that there is room for all of us to thrive. I think there's very few scenarios in the world where there's only one number one spot. Like in certain competitive sports, maybe, sure enough, there can only be like one gold prize. But I think there's always room in life for like more and more people to do better and to keep growing and sort of expanding on their expertise, and sometimes allow it to push you as well. Like if you thought something wasn't possible, so you never actually tried, and then you see someone winning at it, let that be a signal to you that that could be you too, if you apply yourself and you give yourself the chance to shine in that same way.
The reason why I think it's important to talk about jealousy is what happens when jealousy is left unchecked, and especially to families and friendships. And I've seen friendships end and family relationships go sour because of jealousy. And I think if you don't take that time to reflect, jealousy starts showing up as negative energy towards the people that you love. And they start to feel it. They will start to notice that, hey, this person is acting weird, or this person is, not happy for my success. And that builds a lot of, mistrust and, disappointment. And, people feel like, I didn't expect this from you. Like, why are you acting like this? I thought we were friends. I thought we were family. And you end up losing the people that you love the most because of something that has just been triggered in you that you can actually do something about and stop just making it fester. Because I feel like if jealousy is left unchecked, it will just start to ferment. Each time you see that person winning at that thing, or that thing that you're jealous about keeps showing up, it just makes you feel worse and worse and worse. and you start to not be able to even be positive to that person anymore. You start to resent that person, someone who you didn't resent before, because you're having these feelings of, man, what's happening to you right now should be happening to me, or I wish it wasn't happening to you, like, because I can't make it happen for myself. So you place so much focus on the jealousy if you don't check it, whereas if you do what you were saying, like, just take a moment and evaluate and see, what is this bringing up and what can you do? You deal with the feelings, and then you can go ahead and be happy for the people that you love, and preserve those friendships, preserve those family relationships. And I think that we can see a lot more like thriving in those relationships, because I think that is one of the most number one reasons why friendship breaks. Like, someone gets married before another person, and then one person starts to be jealous of that, and they start being negative towards that person and actually sabotaging their success, like making it to say, it goes beyond like, oh, I wish it wasn't happening to you, to, I'm going to make it stop happening to you now. Like, I'm going to sabotage your relationships. I'm going to start spreading lies about your relationship just so that it breaks and we can be the same. So it starts to motivate you to do things that are very negative. Yeah.
And actually, the word that comes to mind for me is resentment more than anything. I think if you continue to let jealousy, like, sort of guide what you're doing in your life and how you're thinking about people, it's bound to happen that you start to develop feelings of resentment towards that person and or situation. And I don't think it's always intentional. I don't think you always mean to resent people, especially if they're close to you, but then you don't deal with your own unmet needs. You don't confront the fact that there's something deeper going on here. So then it starts to infect your soul, sort of like one step at a time. And for me, it's sort of analogous to like a bag of fruit, right? So take like one bag of fruit, all the other fruits are perfectly fine. So like everything else in your relationship or every other aspect of your relationship is fine. But you get this one area on one fruit that starts to go bad, right? And if you don't address it, if you don't take it out immediately, it's going to start spreading to the other one and the other one and the other one. And within a few days, everything is bad. Nothing is usable anymore because you sort of didn't address that one issue early enough when you could have cut it out and separated it from everything else. So it starts to infect everything else. And even, let's say, like with the marriage example that you use, like, you had no problem with that person's like career and like you were happy for them and everything was great, but then now you find yourself feeling really sour that they got a promotion as well, and then it's their kid does well, and then you're feeling sour about that. You're like, why does their kid excel so much? And now it's every little thing you can imagine. You're like digging into that and you have resentment towards it. And I think it only grows and festers until you can actually get to a point of like naming it, or like, this is where it started, this is the real issue, this is the real reason why I'm having all these negative feelings towards someone I otherwise love. And like, how can I address it within myself? If you even have like a close enough relationship with the person, you can chat to them about it and be like, I'm really struggling right now, and it's not because I'm not happy for you, I'm not sure what it is. And they can even help you get to the root of it if you have that kind of relationship where you can discuss really difficult things to get to like the bottom of what may be causing it. And hopefully that way you sort of nip it in the bud before it becomes full-blown resentment and the relationship is not possible at all.
Absolutely. And I think just to close like that, like think about what you stand to lose if you don't check your jealousy. Think about what you stand to lose. And yes, you might lose a friend and think, wow, I just lost one friend. You get another one because you had not dealt with it in that previous relationship. It shows up again. You keep losing people and you start to get a bad name for yourself, like being someone with negative energy. So you have so much more to lose for not dealing with your jealousy than like it's worth just taking that time and going through that pain of evaluation for just that shorter period than to have, you know, a longer period of loneliness and relationships that are not fulfilling for you because you have this feeling that you have, you know, left to go unchecked. And another thing, just I want to highlight this before we conclude, that, you know, jealousy is not a reflection of who you are or how you feel about the people that you love. It is just one trigger and it can be fixed. So don't, if you feel jealous about somebody, don't make yourself out to be a bad person and beat yourself up about it. It's just an opportunity. Look at it as an opportunity and say, what's going on for me right now? And you'll be amazed at what you discover. And what would you like to say in closing, just as a takeaway?
As a takeaway, I think I'd just like to say to everyone to like practice being happy for other people, because I know for some people that concept doesn't come naturally to them. It's not something that was modeled for them growing up. They don't really know what that looks like for you to just be genuinely happy that someone else is doing well. So in your relationships today, if someone is doing really well, they've done something really great, praise them and just be like, wow, I'm really proud of you and the work you're doing. And I can't wait to see what you're doing before. You don't have to be jealous, like, and then force it per se, but like in just every single instance, you see the opportunity to lift someone else up. Try that. And I think it will also help you feel better in your relationships. You'll see that there is reward in acknowledging that other people have done well as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thanks, guys. So that's all we had on the topic. If you have any thoughts about jealousy or any of your experience, you can share them in the comments, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye.
Sure. Bye, guys.